All right, so we will continue. All right, so I'm gonna show several ways first to do the texture painting. Okay, but we're going to do a UV unwrap first. So I'm gonna go to my UV editing. We got to prepare this carrot right here for our uh, painting or texturing. Okay. So what you need to do whenever you see you're modeling something that's kind of cylindrical is that you want to unwrap this in a way where even if you have a seam, it's not going to be kind of like your it's going to be hidden, right? Look at your let's say your canned goods, right? They do have that paper label, and that thing is wrapped around, and then it's glued on the side usually. Okay. Basically, you don't want where the seam or the connection of that label to be up front where the consumer is going to see it. All right, you want to hide it. Or same thing in video games, they just use a mirrored texture for the head of the character, but you don't want that seam to be right in front of the face. You want it in the back. You want to hide it. Okay. So for this one, if we take a look at this, let's say we're using this as the nose. Most likely you will probably do it kind of like so, where if it's up or down a little bit. So totally up to you. But if we're going to use it like so, then the least likely cut. You're not going to see the cut because if we paint it properly, you're not. You most likely will not see where the cut is at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to select, Alt click the bottom right here. Oh, let me turn on screencast because I think it turns off on every key. All right, right there. So I selected, let's say, the bottom, okay? And what I'll do is I'm going to right click and then I'm going to tell Blender, hey, mark this as a seam, meaning this is where I connect my map, okay? Mark seam. So it didn't do anything to the model, it just marked that line as if that's going to be our unwrapping section, okay? Then I'm going to press A to select all. And as you can see, it still has the original UV mapping. Nothing wrong with this, except we're wasting texture space here, right? Because that circle and the bottom circle is this. Look, it's eating about 50% of the map. And we're not going to get that information in here. So imagine the entire thing that you're looking at, which is this side or going all the way around, is only half the resolution of that texture. So we can't afford to use this. It's such a waste. So what we'll do is, since we mark it right there, I'm going to press U to unwrap and then unwrap again. As you can see right here, it filleted. You see this line in here and this line at the bottom? That's that connection right there. So it's still kind of wasting the space in here, right? So what I'll do is select this. So I'm going to press A to select this. I'm going to rotate this. So I'm going to try and maximize, okay, this map by kind of filling in whatever I could right there by scaling and rotating and moving, just so that we could maximize this space right here. Oh. All right, right there. And try not to go out of the working space. All right, I think that's good right there. So we're kind of using everything we can right there. So that should be our UV map. It's all set. So I'm going to press save here. Okay. Next is we're going to take a look at texture painting. Okay. So texture paint. Let's go to shading first. Let's give this, let's say, a carrot look. Okay. So I'm going to go to I'm in look dev right now. So this is preview mode. Keep in mind, reality is this one right here. Okay. I'm going to turn on the bells and whistles that we always do so that it represents what it should look like in Eevee. And we're going to do the project in Eevee, of course. Go back to my shader, click New. Okay, just give it a base color. I'm guessing that's a good carrot right there. Okay, maybe not too shiny. There we go. All right, and now what we can do, since carrot, you probably notice in carrot, it's translucent. Okay, it's mostly fluid in there. So I'm going to do is base color. I'm going to drag this and drop it to the subsurface color, so it's the same. What I'll do is I'm going to darken this just a bit. So this will be the inner part of the carrot. Well, or beyond the initial flesh right here, because the core is actually light color. Yeah. So this is just kind of underneath, right? So right now it just looks like a rough surface plastic. So I'm gonna go with subsurface right here. I'm gonna drag this a little bit all the way to one right here. So it gave it kind of like that translucent look. Okay. If we go with better lighting right here, you could actually see it's like a baby carrot look, right? So you can tone that down. Let's say we're just gonna go about that. All right, so that should work for now. We can give it some shininess a little bit right there, a little bit shimmer. Okay, so we could use this as our base color, right? So let's go to texture painting. So if we have that base color and we're just going for, let's say, a more stylized look for it, right? A little bit more stylized look. What we can do then is just probably work, since we like the surface already, we're probably just going to add a normal map or a bump map. So let's just do a bump map to kind of simplify this example, okay? So what I'll do is, I think I need to rock the screencast again right here. Okay, so it's back. All right, we'll apply a bump. All right, so I'm going to go to number 1 right here on the numpad, kind of looking at the side, right? And then I'm in texture paint, and I'm here on the very top. Okay, very top tab. It says here, just make a, I'm just going to make a material, right? It says here no texture, all right? It's because we're not painting anything in particular. So I'm just going to hit the plus right here, and we're going to make a bump. Remember, in the cat mask, we made a base color. So you can also paint your roughness. You can, you can paint pretty much what you need for the look. So this one we're going to do bump. Okay, it's going to ask us, hey, what is the size of your map? All right, so this is the same thing as the texture map we download, let's say at CC0, right? It asks you want 2K, 4K, 8K, and you already know the answer to that, because if you go lower resolution and you zoom in on your model to render, then you get the pixelation, right? The rule of thumb is 1:1. Minimum magnification is your output. Okay, so if you're zooming in and you're looking at your model about full size, so that it's no pixelation. If you zoom in halfway through your model, like you're showing really close, about half of it, then it's going to start, dropping down. It's going to start showing 2K resolution. Okay, so on this one, I'm guessing we're probably going to be fine with 1K. But let's say you want a close up of your snowman, so we're going to bump this to 2K. So I'm just going to do asterisk and 2 right there and press enter. So it just kind of multiplies it to 2. So, I mean, if you know your number, you can just type it in there. But this is a really cool trick. Asterisk is basically multiplication twice, and then press enter, and then you get double the number, 2K, all right? So the color, we're going to go with white, all right? And then we're not going to need an alpha because it's just a bump map, okay? So basically, we're preparing a blank texture, all right? So I'm going to call this one carrot bump, so that we know that that's the object for it. And then we're going to click OK. All right. So right now it's good to go, and we have the paintbrush right here. We have smooth, we have smear, and then we have clone stamp. Okay, we have fill. So these are your kind of classic minimum brush, basic brush. We also have the strength right here, and we have radius. And I'm using the mouse here to kind of simulate probably 99.9% of the student population. If you don't have a drawing tablet, then you're going to be using a mouse. All right. So let's take a look. So I'm just going to brush right here. Okay. Oh, I have to flip that. Sorry. Okay. Let me do that again. So I made the image white. So we have to, and I'm painting white. So when I'm painting white, I'm not getting a bump. All right. So I have to flip this. I have to paint in black. So I'm just going to do this flip. Okay. So what it means right now, whatever black or grayscale that I put, it creates like a bump on the object. You see that? So it looks like it went down there. But if I reverse that into white, then you're kind of erasing that bump. See it? All right, so like you can get rid of it. So we want it on black right there. So with carrots, if we're looking at it from the top right here, they have kind of like those cuts all over the carrot, right? So when I use this brush right here, it has a really soft kind of feathering, as you can see. So that won't do, right? What we want here is to go to our fall off and kind of change that. So right now it has smooth fall off on the top and the bottom. So I probably want something like this where it's a little bit more kind of linear, or this one right here where it curves, so it's like it's sharp at the top. So let's take a look what this does. There we go. So we're already kind of seeing the effect that we want, except it's just kind of massive. Okay, so let me go undo. So we got that. So I'm gonna change the radius here. And if your radius is a little finicky, like it jumps too much within the pixel size, try holding down Shift when you click and drag this. It does a much smoother, slower increment. Okay, so let's go with, let's say, 10 pixel right there. Let's take a look. All right, I think that would do. Keep in mind, if I zoom in, then that thing is relative to my size, right? So if I go farther like this, that pixel is relative to the size right here. So once you have that one, and then I'm probably going to stay on this one. So, all right, let's increase it a bit since I'm zooming that right here. So 15. So I'm just going to go. Maybe that's too much. All right. Okay. So once we carrots, I don't know, man. Look at the image and whatnot. So anyway, all right. So let's see where. That's what we're getting right there. One thing we can do right here is the smear. If we smear, oops, it's too strong. The corners right here, you kind of, oh, it's way too weak. You kind of get a tapered one, okay? All right, that's probably too much work right there. So let me just increase the brush size also. Okay. All right, just so that we can kind of get a not too blunt start right there. Okay, and then we can apply some smoothing right here. Then it kind of smooth that corner right there. This is where having a tablet would help because of that pressure sensitivity, because you can actually flick. All right. So again, this is for more like a stylized carrot. Okay. And you can already imagine if we kind of fill this up with what we need with all the other one, you know. And you go all the way around. And let's see what it looks like. All right, so that's way too deep on the on that carrot right there. So I'll bring this up and soften that a bit. Okay, you can also flip your color. Do my color. Yeah, because I changed it to a different brush. There we go. So if we flip this, then you can minimize the some of the bump by kind of applying a reverse bump. So instead of it's digging, it's gonna create a surface area right there. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of make it a little bit more kind of organic. And of course, I butchered this; those are really huge cuts, but you get the point. All right. So if you spend the time perfecting your art right here, then of course it'll look the best. Okay. So and use a tablet. All right, instead of a mouse, because it just gets super hard with a mouse. All right, so this is our lesson for um, using base color with subdivision surface, subsurface scattering, and using paint as a bump. Okay, so we're going to continue on, but I'm going to introduce to you another way to do this. By the way, when you did this, when you save Blender at this point, none of that is saved, this map right here. You have to physically go here, image, and save that bump image, all right, in order to actually see it carried over or actually get it applied. So if I go to shading right here, just to show you, see that bump we're actually creating is automatically plugged under height and normal right here, as if you would use a material. All right, you see it? So we're not going to be using that. There it is. Okay, and then I can just go right here to image. When I save a copy of that, it creates a physical copy of this one. Okay, so I mean, you could really actually just paint on top here, right here. So, and you don't have to paint on the actual carrot. It will actually create those images also. So we're not going to save this, right? But that's how you keep this. And when you save this, you go to shading. It will apply it here. Those two. We're going to start as if there's nothing. Okay. So we're keeping the shader. Okay. But we're going to go back here. So we're going to apply a base color. All right. And on the base color, we're just going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to leave the color to this one, very similar to the one we're applying to that. So we'll just leave it like that. We're not going to be using any transparency, so no need to check alpha. However, I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it carrot base color. And it's still going to be 2K. I'm going to click OK. All right, so first we need to prepare the texture we're going to be using on this one, right? So we're going to stencil. Basically, if you've done a print before, let's say for shirt and whatnot, and you got a stencil, it's kind of the same thing. You put the stencil on top and you glide your paint. Okay, so I'm going to go here at the very bottom. Okay, and I'm going to click New and open the texture I'm going to use. Okay, so let me see here. We have the carrot image. This is the same one the image reference for our model. Okay, there it is. Okay, and on this one, I'm going to go to the mapping right here. Let me see. I'm going to go just, well, it can be cropping, sampling. Let me see where that. I'm drawing a blank here to make it as so it's aspect ratio. I'm looking to fix the aspect ratio because I don't think it's going to be the same. Of all the time, I opened it and it's right there. Now we're going to go back here. So part of the texture right here, we're going to use instead of tile. Okay, because you can paint this actually, this becomes like a brush, okay, when you're painting it. Okay, I'm going to go with stencil. All right, oh, there it is, image aspect. So it will follow. So when, before it was kind of short, so there it is. So when you switch mapping to stencil, you can go here and it just pops up right here, okay? For you to move this, you're going to right-click, drag it, like so. And I'm on the top, so I better be on the front because that's the same orientation. Right, there you go, right there. I'm also going to go to our preview because the preview kind of gives you better lighting overall. You can see it, okay? And in order to scale this, we hold down Control and right-click drag. Oh, sorry, Shift, not right-click drag. Let me put it back. And of course, right here, I'm going to go 360 to kind of make it flat again. Okay, so shift, right click, drag, and I'm just going to kind of position this, right click to move it. Okay, and I'm making it just slightly bigger. Okay, and what I'll do now is just simply paint on top, like so. You can't see it right now, but that thing is stenciling the image. Okay, and I have my strength to 100 so that whatever I applied pressure to this, it's applying the same amount equally. Okay, let me go to modeling here and go to this one so you could see what just got painted. All right, there it is. That's a weird looking one. Okay, let me go to my shading here. Didn't quite paint it. It's painting it as, oh, sorry. Gotta flip that over. That's why. Okay, I was on black paint. Never mind. Okay, so I flipped the color. I'm on white. Now I'm just painting that. And it's just painting the photo on that side right there. And our fall off here is smooth. Actually, I'm going to go to this one right here so that it has soft softening or feathering. So when we overlap, it's like clone stamping. Okay, so there's that right there. Let's go back to modeling. There it is. It's getting painted over. Okay, texture paint. So I'm going to go Control 1. So we are doing the back. Okay. You can flip the image, of course. You can do along the X right here. You can kind of do a -1. So it flipped the image. Okay. So and then right click to kind of position. All right, and then probably scale this just a little bit bigger so that I don't have to worry about hitting those sides right there. Okay. I'm going to paint this. All right, so now both sides are fine. Okay, I'm gonna go number 7, which is the top. This is where it's just kind of straight and whatnot. So I'm gonna go back here under scale, size, go back to +1. So goes to this orientation. So we just need, I'm gonna right click to kind of position it. We just need this part right here actually to blend in. So I'm gonna lower my brush radius. Okay, F right here to lower that. And I'm just going to run this one right here. So it's just going to, it's kind of like clone stamping. So all that image right there just kind of got blended right there. Okay, and as you can see right there. Okay, so I'm going to do Control 7. We're looking at the bottom. I'll do the exact same thing. And I think the position right here is fine. I can just kind of go like so. There's probably some lighting difference right here because of how the other one is kind of spread. So I'm going to increase this brush size a bit just to make that feathering a little bit simpler. Okay, let's go back here where we're outside and let's take a look. All right, that's not bad at all. Okay. Oop, it's bad. Let's fix that one right there. Okay. Okay. You can also rotate your model like so, and then just find a spot that you think might work with that. I think it's fine like so. We're never going to see this back, but if you have your texturing pride, you probably would want to. Of course, it doesn't look like that, but just so that it doesn't look like that. All right, just kind of not having any texture. All right, and I think that's fine right there. Very important now, we save this image. Okay, I'm going to save a copy. Just going to put it on the desktop. We're going to call it Carrot Base Color PNG. All right, RGB 8-bit, compression 0. Okay, save as image. All right, so if we go to our shading now, that's already applied. And we just need to create the bump map version for this. All right. So I'm going to go right here and open that image. All right. So I'm actually going to select it. All right. So that it's now using the one that I saved and not the one that in memory on texture map right there. So what I can do with this now is that I can Command C to copy it. So let me turn on uh, screencast again. All right. I'm going to Command C to copy, Command V to paste, because I'm on a map. Okay. And we're going to use this as a bump and as our reflection. So I'm going to Command V again to paste. So let me move this up. Both will be non-color because that would be my reflection. Oh, it's a copy. Hold on. I'm going to do undo. So what I'll do here is make a copy, a new image. Okay. Actually, no. Where's my? Let me make this as sRGB. All right. I'll just import that as a new one. So I'm going to do an import. Image texture right here. Let's use the same one. Oh, why does it mimic again? What am I doing wrong? If I wanted to make that as a all right. Okay, there you go. So I'm locking it as a non-color right there because I'm be using this Command C, Command V for my roughness and then normal map. All right, there we go. So now this one is staying as color. All right, so normally you would go to Photoshop, convert that to grayscale, so on and so forth, but we don't have time to do that. We're just going to do it here. So Shift A, vector bump. So I'm going to drag the color to height, then normal to normal. By doing that, we have this horrendous looking carrot because the strength is way too much. Okay, so it's going to give it a little bit. All right, so it's giving that all that kind of wrinkly stuff, but I think we need to invert it. There we go, so that the slits right there, they go in instead of protruding out. Questionable whether that's too much or whatnot. Yeah, totally up to your discretion. And the higher the picture that you grab would dictate the quality of this one. We're starting to lose some of it right here. Anyway, that's good enough. For the base color, I'm going to get a converter, color ramp, and I'm simply going to color to factor, color to roughness. It's going to be super shiny here if we don't do anything with this one. Let's see. Oh. Actually, it's subtle enough, I think. Why is this thing not cooperating? There we go. Actually, it's probably fine like this. It's not giving us that kind of wet look. A little bit right there, I can see it. So, kind of just toned it down a bit. All right, that should be good enough right there. Let's go to our model panel right here. Okay, and then let's go to... okay, so that should do it right there. All these files that we created are in the are saved on the desktop. So there's actually a carrot photo that was generated. This one right here. Let me get rid of stencil. Okay, and this one is actually saved. Okay, and the seam is at the bottom, so we're not gonna be able to see that one as easily. Okay, so this will conclude how to create this and use subsurface scattering and bump map and actually do a stencil. All right.